breaking news out of both North Korea and China. To North Korea first. So North Korea has test fired for the first time in 2 years a submarine-launched ballistic missile. China reportedly tested in August a nuclear-capable hypersonic weapon, much harder to detect and intercept than ballistic missiles. These kind of reports, again, it seems like they're moving forward with bold military plans. The news ultimately gets out, and the analysts that have been in the media on this Chinese hypersonic weapon, I mean, they are sounding some major alarm bells, even about these being hidden inside satellites. They put up a satellite now, having to think that every Chinese satellite is a potential nuclear weapon.
There's no doubt the Chinese Communist Party is intent on building a military that can dominate the American military, the militaries of the West, including the Europeans and ours. We have to continue to move forward as well. We have to continue to do the things we need to do to secure our freedom. My biggest concern is that when you hear the White House press person say that we welcome competition from China, no, we don't welcome competition from the Chinese Communist Party. We want to continue to be the beacon for freedom around the world. We don't want to live in a society that is dominated by a Marxist-Leninist ideology.
The diplomatic work, there might be something going on behind the scenes. We might see a public condemnation, but these countries don't seem very concerned.
I don't think they should be concerned. Why? Because the Biden administration continues to exemplify one thing and one thing only: weakness and spinelessness. So the Biden administration continues to put the United States last and global elites first. Jen Psaki, the press secretary, states that we welcome stiff competition. And apparently she is suggesting that the Biden administration welcomes threats to the homeland just so long as those threats are indeed inclusive and diverse. So apparently Jen Psaki and the Biden administration appears to love threats so long as they come from Iran, the Taliban, North Korea, China, and Russia.
You've been to Pyongyang. You met with Chairman Kim. What is that regime? Obviously, there's been a shift from the Trump administration to the Biden administration, and with these tests, what do they think they gain?
He's putting the world on notice that they haven't gone away, that they have this nuclear capability, and they will use this for leverage for things like humanitarian relief and assistance, to convince the Chinese that they need to make sure not treat them in a way that's inconsistent with what North Koreans have asked the Chinese to do. That is, they will continue to trade with them. Remember, the North Koreans are still under enormous sanctions. And so these missile tests are aimed at convincing those who don't understand deterrence, sometimes the Europeans, sometimes even people inside the United States, perhaps even the Biden administration, that maybe we should just let go of those sanctions so that they will stop threatening the world.
We're used to a country that obviously is threatened, but it's like we're not publicly, at least, we're not staying one step ahead of our enemies.
One of my concerns there is that approach might actually be dictated by the fact that that's really their foreign policy of choice. I mean, if your goal is to sort of create a level playing field across the globe and bring the United States down a peg or two because you think that is going to calm things down, this might be the exact approach you're going to take. Now, I think if you take a historical look, as I'm sure Andy's going to do here in just a minute, you'll see that is a recipe for disaster. If you don't want to lead from strength, if you want to lead through appeasement and bring the power of the United States down a peg or two, you're just asking for trouble.
The thing that really distresses me is when I hear this press secretary, Jen Psaki, making the absurd comment, we welcome stiff competition from China. And Lindsey Graham and Mike Pompeo, we just heard, and my colleague Harry Hutchinson said quite the opposite. I don't welcome stiff competition in the area of nuclear capability and the ability to strike out and kill us. Why would you make a stupid remark like that? But the reason is because who do you have as president? Instead of somebody with the leadership capabilities of Donald Trump or Harry Truman, we've got in the White House Calvin Coolidge and Franklin Pierce. That's who we've got as our president, someone who is spineless and gutless and doesn't know how to lead.
It gets edgier the more that America fails to demonstrate resolve. The world saw that when the Iranians, through their proxy in Gaza Strip, fired missiles into Israel, when we had the debacle that we had and the way we withdrew from Afghanistan, the world can see that we are truly back to a weak foreign policy as we had in the Obama administration for 8 years, and that makes the others more they get sportier, right? They take more risk. They think that America can be pushed around. And if you push America around, eventually Americans will be forced to respond. And that does create increased risk. It's why deterrence, it's why strength matters. It's why Ronald Reagan had peace through strength precisely right in the same way we tried to deliver that in the Trump administration as well.
They make it day by day tougher and tougher and tougher to respond to the growing threats. One, by not acknowledging them. Two, by being on the payroll of the Chinese. And then three, just kind of letting the world move along, just giving it up.